Hello and welcome to Module 1 of the Beginner Web Dev course. This is Hello Web. If you are new to web development, this is just the right course for you. A couple of things I would like us to know before we proceed. If you've ever heard of W3 School, or if you've not, this would be a good time for you to check them out. W3 Schools has materials for you to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQLite, Python, and the like, React, MySQL, jQuery, and a couple more languages here, right? Okay, so the focus of this course is to take information from documentation pages like this and use it to create projects. Now, at the end of each module, you should be able to create your own projects and also deploy it to production using GitHub. So if you're excited like me, let's get started. Now, in this page here, we're going to be focusing on HTML and CSS for most of it. For this module, our focus is to create a very simple introduction page about yourself. Now, from this page here, you can see different applications, or should I say different reference, or should I say different tags and different topics on HTML, from headings to paragraph to styles, formatting to quotation and the likes. Now, I would like you to take note of this web page and use it for your reference. We're going to use information from this web page here to create our own. So before we proceed, if you don't have a GitHub account, I totally recommend you open and create a GitHub account. This is mine. I already have a GitHub account, but if you don't, do register, and you'll be making use of GitHub account, because this is where you're going to deploy your project at the end of the day. For me, I'm going to create a project here real quick, and I'm going to call it Hello Web Intro, or should I just say Hello Web? Okay, I'm going to make this private for now, and then I don't need a README. Let's just put a README. So we say it's personal intro page, all right? And then that's it. Let's create this repository. And then once your repository is created, the next thing you want to do is you want to clone it via SSH. If you've not worked with SSH before, you might want to look into adding your SSH key to your local machine. So you say, let's say add SSH key to GitHub, right? So in order for you to clone this repository locally to your system, you should have your SSH key already on GitHub. Now, this page shows you how to do it depending on your system. If you're using a Windows, a MacBook, or a Linux machine. I'm using a Linux machine. The instructions are very clear here. Before adding a new SSH to your account on GitHub, check for existing SSH keys on your system. Check if you have one. If you have, make use of it. Otherwise, generate a new one and add it to your machine's SSH agent, and then you add a new SSH key to your account. So if this is your first time using GitHub, you might want to do this first before you proceed to the next section. Now, when you follow this instruction to the letter, you should have your SSH key on your GitHub account. And with that, all you need to do is come here, click on this, right? And then you go to your machine, and then you clone it. Okay, So let me show you how to do that. Now that we're here, this is my terminal, and every operating system has a form of terminal. If you're using MacBook, you're probably using item 2. And if you're using Windows, either using shell or WSL2, Windows subsystem for Linux. Right here, I'm using console as my terminal. You can see that here, console terminal, what's written here. Okay. Now let's clone that. So all I need to do is type git clone, and I paste that here, and I have hello web. Hello web is now on my system. Hello web. Let's sit into change directory to hello web, right? And then if you do not have, I'm using the VS Code. I'm using VS Code as my text editor, right? I would totally recommend you use VS Code. Okay. So here is a quick primer for text editor. If you're taking this course and you've not looked at the course on Python and introduction to web programming from the Python course, I should probably give you a quick primer here. So you have different kind of editors, right? So let's just say types of editors. Or should I say types of code editors or text editors, right? So you have Sublime Text here. You have Vim, PHP Storm, Ultra Edit, as you can see, Atom, VS Code, Notepad++, Emacs, Bluefish. When I started programming, I believe I started with Notepad++, tried my hands on Sublime Text for a while, and then I think I used Atom a little bit. I never really used PHP Storm. Then I think I kind of switched to VS Code and really just got comfortable with VS Code. So I'm used to VS Code. But you can see that there are other types of text editors here, right? So VS Code is what I use. Okay. Let's see. VS Code. If you don't have VS Code, you should definitely install VS Code, okay? And depending on your kind of machine here, if you're using Windows, MacBook, or Linux, and you can see you can code in any language with VS Code, JavaScript to TypeScript, JSON, and the likes. Let's click on download. What do we have here? So you can download for Windows, Ubuntu, there's .deb and .rpm, okay? Debian, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Fedora, SU, SE, and for Mac. Depend on the operating system. In here you have not the operating system, but the ship here. What do you call it? Now trying to recall the name, but depending on the kind of system chip you have, Intel chip, Apple Silicon, Universal, and x64, ARM64, x64, ARM32, and ARM64. So depending on the kind of system chip you're using, then that should kind of determine what you want to install on your system. But once you have VS Code installed on your system, then on your terminal, all you need to do is call the command code, the name, the file paths, or you code with a dot, which is the directory of the repository you cloned. Okay, so let's show you what that looks like. in my own case, I'm going to call it via code dot with the enter here, and that should open the terminal for me. With my text editor opened, not the terminal, my bad. Now that I have my text editor opened, I'm going to open the terminal, new terminal, right? Okay, so this is a new terminal, and the first thing we want to create here is the index.html page, index.html HTML page. Now let's reference our w3school.com HTML page. Now, when you go to this page, remember that you should have this page open for reference, because you're just going to be making use of these tags here, and you can be creative with the tags you have here. But let's see. This is the very simple easy learn HTML, easy learn with HTML, try it yourself. So this is very basic. So we're going to copy this. I'm going to use this as our base template and improve on it. Okay. So let's see. Before we even use that, let's just see what's going on here. So over here you have, if you want to create videos with HTML media content, you have HTML videos, media, audios, and the likes. And then you can just reference how to do that. So for example, you want to create HTML videos like this. This is the tag you use. You use the video tag, and that allows you to create video. You want to create audio with HTML, you use the audio tag like this, audio controls, and that allows you to create audios. So try it yourself. If you click on this, it shows you how it is done. Okay, so the source is host.mp3, and then this is the audio sound. Okay, so that's just an example, right? Okay, so there's something I want to bring our attention to here before we move on, and that is document type, right? So let's see. I'm going to search for it here real quick. Doc type, which is HTML reference. That's it there. So under the doc type, so the HTML document type, all HTML documents must start with a doc type declaration. The declaration is not an HTML tag. It is an information to the browser about what document type to expect. In HTML5, the doc type declaration is simple. Just use doc type HTML, and that's it. You're good to go. And within the doc type, it says valid HTML elements in different doc types. So in HTML5, these are the valid ones. In HTML4, article is not valid. In XHTML, no, it's not valid. So we kind of make use of HTML5, but you should be aware of what is valid within the doc type, what attributes or tag are valid within the doc type. And I thought I should bring this to your attention for someone if you're learning HTML for the first time. Keep this handy. You don't have to cram everything. The more you practice, the better you become at this, but keep it handy. Keep this page handy and then make use of it. Look at it even after this module. You want to double check how this works, and then see what you can make out of it. In this, for our own use case, we're going to be creating a very simple intro page. That is a personal profile page of some sorts. So we've copied our syntax already, or should I say our code snippet. Let's make use of it. Now I'm going to paste it here as doc type, and I'm going to make use of live server. So if you VS Code has extensions, and I'm going to be making use of the live server extension. To install an extension, you just need to type in the name of the extension you're looking for here, if you know what you're looking for. In this case, I'm looking for live server. I already have it, but I'm just showing you what to do. Once you have your live server, you install it. Mine is already installed, and then you can make reference to it using the go live symbol, which is this one, right? Disposing. I already had it open before, so I'm just disposing that one, but I'm going to turn it on in a bit again just for us to see how it is used. Okay, so now we have index.html, and I'm going to click on go live. So the server is going to start, and then you're going to see it's opened in a bit for us to see. So here we have it. So this is a heading, this is a paragraph. Very simple. Okay. So yeah, we're going to change this title from page title to about me. I want to create a very simple profile page that just talks about me, right? Okay. Now, there are the other thing I want to draw our attention to here is CSS, right? So let's see, what is CSS? So from this page, the second thing we should pay attention to here is CSS. CSS is a language we use to style an HTML document. CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed. Okay, so this is a very cool reference. Here we can see this CSS here telling the body to have a background color, saying that the H1 tag should use this color of white, text align center, and that the paragraph should use the font family Vedena and the font size of this. Let's see what this looks like. Try yourself. So background color of light blue is this. To the H1 tag, which is this one, it's applying the color white and it's putting the text to the center. So white is the color and the text is in the center. So color white, text align, center. Then font family, Vedena, the font size is this. Okay, so let's borrow this as our base. Also going to borrow this snippet here. Let's grab it. I'm going to use it as our base CSS for our simple profile page. And let's put all of this to practice. So we're going to create a second file here. I'm going to call it style.css. In this file, we're going to paste the CSS we copied over to be used here. Now that we've put the CSS here, you will notice that nothing has happened to our HTML page, and that's because we are not making reference to CSS yet. For HTML, there are three main ways to reference CSS. Three main ways. The first one, they call it the inline CSS. The second one, you call it the internal CSS. And the third one, they call it external CSS. So let's explain that real quick. For internal CSS, or rather the inline CSS, you directly apply styles to a single HTML element like this p tag here. And the way you do that, you use for example, this p tag here, you say style, right? And then You see, for example, you say style, we say color is red. So for this P tag, this is a paragraph. We say the color should be red, right? And we're not going to stop there. We can take it further. We then say font size. So font size indicates the desired height of glyphs from the font. So let's give it a font size of, say, 45 px, yeah? 45 px. That's it. And then let's see what our HTML will look like. So now we have, this is heading, this is paragraph. And you can see the font size is 45 and the color is red because we set it to be red here. What if we set it to something like this, like purple, right? This is what it's going to look like. We're going to change to this. Is that purple? Let's give it something different. Yeah, that kind of looks like purple or indigo. Okay, let's use green. And let's move it. Let's use this RGB here. Let's color settings there. And let's see. So that's green. So this is what CSS does. This type of CSS is called the inline CSS. You put this inside the style attributes of a tag. So this is the tag, this P tag. You can add the style attributes. So similar to the same way, you can do the same thing to the H1 tag. Just put the style attributes. This is an attribute, a property of the H1 tag, right? So the style attribute, like this, and then you tell it what you want the heading to look like. So for example, we can say something like color, and we can call it, say, brown, for example. Let's see if that's, there we go. This is a heading, okay? So this is inline CSS. The second type of CSS is called the internal CSS. This one, internal CSS, the second. And the way to do that, use that is, let's undo this real quick here. The way to do that is you put the style tag inside the head. So this is the doc type HTML, right? And then you have the head, and then you have the body. Okay, so inside this head tag, you put the style tag. This is internal CSS. So here we'll put the style, close this, and here you can define, say, let's say we want the body to be, want to give the body. So the definition here, everything we have here, if we don't want to use this, we bring everything here, copy this, bring it here, and put that inside this style block here. I'll call it, and let's see what our CSS looks like. You see, it's a bit different now. Our background is light blue, color is white, and the text align is center. So you can see that this text is now centered. Okay. Now this is the inline CSS. Now we're not going to be making use of inline CSS or internal CSS. Rather, we'll be making use of external CSS. The name of our CSS file is called style.css. So let's see how to use that. To do that, we just need to, within the head tag, right, we use a new tag called the link tag here. So the link element allows authors to link their documents to other resources. In this case, we want to link to our style.css resources. So we say the relationship here, rel, this one. Let's say rel. So the rel, this attribute names a relationship of the link document to the current document. The attribute must be a space separatedly. So we're actually using the relationship. We're calling this a style sheet here, right? And then we say href equal to style.css. Style.css because that's the name of the file we're referencing. Once we do that, the file should, you see now we still have it here. And that's because now it knows this is the CSS file it's using. Okay, so now that we've said that, let's do something interesting. We want to create a very simple profile page, yeah? So let's introduce ourselves. I am Samuel James, so I'm just going to say, hello, I am Samuel James. Let's put an exclamation mark there. On the paragraph tag here, I want to just talk about myself a bit. So I'm going to say, I am, so you talk about yourself here. I'm learning to build websites. And we're going to deploy these websites at the end of the day for our first project, first module. Let's introduce a new tag here, h2. And then let's call this my hobbies. Okay. And then what are my hobbies here? Let's introduce one. So I'm using the ordered lists, the UL. On ordered lists, UL, the UL element represents a list of items where the order of items is not important. Okay, so let's see. Here, I'm going to introduce the li tag or the list. The li elements represent a list item. If its parent element is an ordered list, on ordered list UL, ordered list OL, on ordered list UL, or menu element, then the element is an item of the parent's element list. So li here will be an item, will be an item of the parent's element list. So lists, and then let's see, I want to list like 3 things here. See, okay, so let's see. There's I can put something real quick here like reading. Okay, reading. If I want to make this page look very cool, just to make it look cool, I'm going to add an emoji to this page, and that should look something like this. Hold on, let's find an emoji here. So go to emoji, let's see, get emoji, right? And get emoji basically has like, you can copy and paste different emojis and use it. So reading, let's see, we have cream white emojis, we have brown emojis, we have dark brown emojis, we have black emojis, we have animals and nature, we have what's this, activities and sports. So I'm saying I want to use an emoji that's kind of just goes well with reading. So I'm looking for something that says reading. Yeah, so let's see, books. This kind of talks about reading, so let's use that for reading. Okay, so reading, and then let's go find something else, just very simple. Okay, of course I could use swimming activities, so hobbies and activities. So I could say what, swimming is also a very good, this is surfing, this is cycling, so I could use this one and say I love cycling. Okay, see, that's cycling. Let's put here cycling here, and let's go find one more emoji, just one more. Should we say football, basketball, hockey, skiing in the snow, playing the instruments, the guitar, the flute, game, chess, hobby, playing chess. Okay, I'm gonna pick this one. I do love playing chess, so let's use that. Right, so let's say put that here, paste that, and chess. Playing chess. Okay, so let's see. How is that coming? So we have, hello, I'm Samuel James. I'm learning to build websites, my hobbies. Okay, so this is a very simple, the last thing I want to put here is an image tag. I'm going to use, so the image element represents an image. That's simple. Now I'm going to reference my LinkedIn image profile picture as my image here real quick, so that just a very simple profile page that just talks about me. Yeah. And then now that we've done that, let's add the alternates here, the alternative text to the image, and I'm going to use that Samuel James photo, and let's close that. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Let's get rid of this one at the bottom here. This is just three main ways: inline, CSS, internal and external. I hope that makes sense. So now we have a very simple profile page. Yeah. So what if we style our profile page and just make it a little bit interesting? Okay, so let's style the image tag a bit. We say image here. Let's push this back a bit. Okay, just right. So many things going on here. And there we go. That doesn't change a thing. But let's style the image tag. So we have this image tag here, and let's give it some styling. Very simple one. So let's say image here, and let's give it a border radius of say 8 pixel, something like that. And let's say margin top of say 10px, right? And let's see what that looks like. So now we can see that it is curved at the very top here, margin top. So what is border radius, for example? So the border radius here, let's do this, border hyphen radius, right? So border radius here defines the radii of the outer border edge. That is the edge, give it a curve. And then margin top, let's see what margin top is. So margin top. So hold on. Oh, I probably defined that here. Margin top. So shorthand property to set values for the thickness of the margin area. If left is omitted, it is the same as right. If bottom is omitted, it's the same as top. If right is omitted, it's the same as top. Negative values for margin top properties are allowed. Now I'm going to show us real quick in a bit what all of this looks like from the web page perspective. If all of this is like French and Swahili, if it's not making so much sense. Okay, So let's see something from here. Let's see a different perspective. When you put that URL here, right? We have this page here. You go to inspect the HTML page like this, and then here you can see what the margin looks like. I can bring this to the very bottom like this. So let's move this to the base here, just a little bit now. And when I click on this, you can see the area highlighted in gold. Observe the edge of this page. You see this margin? So that's what a margin is. And then this is the border. And then the padding. Then the central where your file, the page actually is displayed within this section. So this is kind of like, so we are manipulating the margin, you have margin top, margin bottom, margin right, margin left. Okay, so let's see. Now that we've said that, let's do something a bit. Can we align? Oh, I should show you something real quick here. So let's see. You can test what you can actually decide what your style should look like from here. So this is my image, right? And I can locate the image here. This is the image tag, right? Just this one. You click on this as the highlighter, click on the image here. Now you have access to the image here, and then you can do something like this. What's going to happen? You can try out different properties and say what's going to happen if I use, for example, text align. Is it going to make any change? So let's say text align justify. Would that make any difference? No, right? Nothing's going to happen. What if I say center? Is that going to make any? No, nothing's going to happen. So with this, you can consider this documentation page and then use it to play around your HTML and CSS. This is CSS borders, right? What you can do with the border. See this? Just as an example. So border style radius, and the likes. So you can take a border and you can make a cover out of it. Border widths, you can do stuff with the size of a border, right? So now I'm interested in image. So let's see, what can we do with CSS and image? So let's just say, F image IMAGE. All right. So a couple of things here we see. Let's see image here, CSS border images, image styling, image centering, image filter, image shape, right? RWD. So let's say we want to check out what does this mean. So this says center an image horizontally in two ways, right? So one says one way to center an image horizontally on a page is to use margin auto, right? Since image element is an inline element and margin auto does not have any effect on inline elements, we also must convert the image to a block. So we say display block. Then in addition, we have to define width. The width of the image must be smaller than the width of the page and the like. So to style your image and to put it in the center, you use the display block, margin auto, and width 50. Now that we see that, we can try that here to see if that's gonna make a difference, right? Let's say, actually, you know what? So let's just take it one at a time. We could either, first of all, put it here. We just put it here and test it directly, right? Or we could try each of the properties one at a time to see if it's going to make a difference. So here we see our image is centered. Okay, that's simple. So we have, hello, I'm Samuel James. The image is centered. What if we want to just put everything in the center? That is we want to put, do we then say, we want to put the paragraph in the center? We can say copy, put this, and see what it looks like. Yeah. So what about our lists? We don't have anything done. Right here we have the UL. So what if we move this list to the center, right? So let's see. Two ways to check that out, right? The style we're using here is very simple style. We just say text align center. That's what we're saying. Or rather, that's what we're using. So let's see. Would that also apply? Would that also apply to our list here? If we click on this, we have access to the lists, the other list here. So if we say, let's see, let's add something to it here. Let's test this out. Say texts align center. So that moves the ordered lists. That moves the, then what about the list item here? We say text align, put something here. No. Text align center. What's going to happen? No. Center. Okay. So here we're saying applying style to the li tag versus to the ordered list ul style here. I think we should try this here. Text align center. Okay. Then we can also put the list style display here. And then let's see, list style display this. You can, currently this means it's circle here. We can change it to square or whatever we want to use. Another thing we could do is just check here, the CSS here, and then we can search for, say, lists. What can we do with, how do we style a list? So let's see, we can find it by using like a list here. So CSS list here. This is ordered lists. What can we do? Ordered list.a, the anchor is circle, B, list style type, square, could be upper Roman, lower alpha, kind of depending on what you want to do with it, right? So this is positioning of, so list style option, outside, inside, I see none, or you could completely just remove the list style type. So remove default setting. The list style type non-property can only be used to remove the markers bullet. Note that list also has a default margin and padding. This removes this, add margin 0 and padding 0 to that. So shorthand property, a couple of things you can do. You can style it, give it a background color and the likes. Now, I really just want to show you that it's kind of really straightforward. All you need to do is reference, depending on what you want to do, just reference this documentation page. Reference this. W3 School is a very good reference point, and you can use it to check out what you want to do. So let's style our H2 and our unordered lists, and let's style the background as well, the body rather. And let's get something out of this, okay? So now I'm just going to go ahead real quick. So let's begin. Let's continue with the ordered list. At this point, we're just going to go with the ordered list, right? And say lists, style type. I want to give it none attribute, yeah, none. Then let's give the text align. Let's call it center, right? And let's also style H2 real quick here. H2 is for H2, let's give this text align as well. Right, let's just make it center too. Right, let's see, what does that look like? What does that look like now? So we have something like this. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay, then we're gonna do something real quick here. Let's switch this a bit. So let's give the color, let's turn the color to like, I'm going to remove, no, actually, let's leave this color alone. Let's move this, let's leave, okay. Let's move this to black. I think black is okay. Let's give the color like, let's move it to, let's use this, okay. That'll make, that's for the, that's for H1. And let's see background color. So let's play a little bit with background color and let's use what we call linear gradients. Okay, so let's see. So search for linear gradients. Linear gradients. Okay, so CSS linear gradients. Well, this is like a function. So let's see, what is that? So linear gradient does something really cool. It makes your background have like cool colors like this. Let's see what that looks like. So with linear gradient, you can give your background color something like this, and you can vary it using what they call degree. Degree just kind of tells us it's the angle it's going to use when displayed. At what angle is it going to set your gradient when it is displayed from top to bottom? Okay, so let's see how that works. I'm gonna close this, and there are different ways you can use from bottom to right. Yeah, so I'm interested in this. So linear gradients with a specified angle. This is what I'm interested in. So without further ado, let's use, but not background image. We want to use it on background. It's kind of still background, but we're going to use this as our background, right? But not red and blue. I have something pre kind of defined already in my mind. So let's see, let's use that. So now that we're here in the body, let's use background. We already have background color, but we're going to just use background. And then we say linear gradient here. I'm going to call this 125 degree, right? And I'm going to use these values I have preset already because they're kind of like nice and really cool. And yep, let's use that. Okay, and let's see what that looks like. So now we have something like this. But we're not done yet, okay? We're still kind of like just processing through, running through it gradually. So let's see. So that's your linear gradient. It creates a diagonal gradient background, and it goes from this, for this one, this goes from light red to dark blue at 135 degree as it transitions. Okay, so the next thing I want to put here is, I want to just quickly put something real quick. Let's put height here. We're going to call it we're going to say 100 VH. Yeah, okay. So here we're saying that we're saying set the height to 100% of the browser. 100% of the browser. You will notice that before there was a diagonal line at this over here, but now it's no longer there. So set the height 100% of the set the height to 100% of the browser window height. So viewport height, that's VH here, viewport height. The next thing we're going to say, already we're going to remove this because we're no longer making use of this background color at this point. Okay. And then want to make the default text color white at this point. So I'm going to just say color here, color white, right? So now we have the color is white all of a sudden. Okay. And then with that, it means, okay, so let's proceed. We're in a good spot here. Okay. And then let's see. This is actually a very good, I wonder if we need, let's see, what if I add a padding to this in a bit? Call it like 20px. What's that going to do? So let's add a padding. Let's add margin of auto. No. So auto kind of fits into it in a way, and then let's stop here. This is actually okay. So now we have something like this, very simple. So we have a very simple profile page, neatly designed, you know, not super crazy, but we have a very nice, beautiful background picture. Hello, I'm Samuel James. I'm learning to build a website. My hobbies, reading, cycling, playing chess, and a very cool profile picture. You see, that's it. We're basically done. We have our, what do you call it here? We have our list out type is done. So we removed the square. We don't want any like anything. We don't want to itemize our list with any points. So we just remove the style type rather. And then we've seen border radius, margin top, and the like. So this is a very simple HTML page. Now that we've done this, we're gonna just quickly commit this, get the status of this, say git add everything, right? Then let's commit this real quick. Git commit -am or -m, and we say intro page created, right? And we're going to deploy this right now. All is good. Let's push this back to GitHub. Right. So we have all of that is pushed to GitHub. So you've created a very beautiful, a very simple, basic HTML page, and you want your friends to see what you've created. The next thing you want to do is to deploy this. Now, GitHub can do this for you. And the best way to do it is just go to your GitHub page here. Now we have it here. We just pushed it back to GitHub. You can see what we just finished doing here. Your styles as well. All you need to do is go to the settings tab. And then under the settings tab, locate pages here. Then we're going to be using GitHub pages. So GitHub pages is designed to host your personal organization or project pages from a GitHub repository. So we're going to tell you the source. We're going to say, let's see, deploy, we should deploy from a branch. So that's correct. And let's see, we're going to tell it the branch. We're going to tell it main. And then its roots as it is. Save this. Right. So now that you've done that, what you're going to do is just wait a bit. Okay. So it says this repository is private, but the published site will be public. Now, once you've done that, the only thing you need to do from this point is wait for like 5 minutes or thereabouts, and then your page should be deployed. So let's wait for a bit, and then we'll see that our page is deployed with a link for us to visit our websites. Okay, so I waited a bit, just refresh, and then you will see that your page is live for you. Your site is live at this HTTPS. This is my Git repository username, github.io, hello web. So let's visit the website, and here it is. So this is live. We just deployed our website to GitHub. It's simple, no? So that's it. We've successfully created a profile page. I see a line here, and I believe I think I added let's see, let's inspect this a little bit. Let's see why that is there. Okay, so I added if I remove this, no, let's see, if I remove the view height, I think that kind of just fixes that. So I think a very simple fix would be to remove these view heights. I think the view heights of 100% is the reason why we have that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for you. I'm not going to make anything of this, just for you to fix yourself and play around with HTML. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for you. Play around with HTML and CSS. You saw what I did there. You go to inspect and you can check out what's going on, you know, play around stuff and even add stuff here. For example, you could add something like, you could add something as good as something as simple as, say, font family. Font family. And then you give it something as simple as, say, what is Segway UI? That's if you're using this. Let's see. All right. Okay. Well, you can play with stuff around here, and then, okay, so I'm going to leave that to you, but yep, we have, we're done with module 1. In the next module, we're going to continue with our path to becoming a web developer, learning the front end. I'm going to see you in the next module where we'll create a very simple project called Click Counter. All right.